Welcome to Mishna study on Masechet Kilayim, Perek Aleph Mishnah Tet. Over here, we're going to speak about an important Mishnah that comes up a lot in the Talmud. It comes up, a few times in the Gemara, and it's actually interesting the way Rambam does understand this, which is different than Rashi. I'll point out as we go through, and that is if a person decides to bury, right, not plant, he's burying turnips and radishes under a vine, under a vineyard. Right? So now he takes these vegetables that he already picked, he harvested them, and now he wants to save them. Right? There was no refrigeration. He wants to keep them cool. So he takes them and he puts them in the ground. Now that he put them in the ground, what's the status of these? Is he allowed to go and bury it under a if you went ahead and did this under a grapevine, is that okay? Right? Or is that Kilayim, because there's a grapevine running on top of it? What if you did this during the Shemitah year? 7th year, you're not allowed to work the field. You're not allowed to plant. You're not allowed to, harvest, work. So you went ahead, is that an issue? Is he allowed to go ahead and pick these? What about ma'asrot? Right? Usually when you harvest something, you have to give ma'asrot for it. Do you need to go ahead and separate ma'asrot for these again? And what about on Shabbat? What's the law on Shabbat? We know you're not allowed to plant and uproot things on Shabbat. Are you allowed to touch these on Shabbat? So that's what we're going to speak about. It's going to be the focus of this Mishnah, and then we'll move on to a separate mahloket between Rabbi Yehuda and Tanakama Hachamim of what's considered kilayim. Right? This is an essential mahloket for our masechet. So hatomen lefet utzlonot tachat hagefen. A person goes ahead and he buries a turnip or radishes underneath a vine. Right, so this could look like Kilayim. So it would be Kilayim, but if some of the leaves, if the leaves are sticking out, right, you could see them, they're revealed, right? We know both of these are leafy, like the fruits on the bottom, the radish and the turnip, but they have green leaves coming out of the top. So if those green leaves are sticking out of the ground, and you could see them, you don't have to worry, not from Kilayim, lo mishum Kilayim, v'lo mishum Shvi'it, v'lo mishum Asrot, v'nitalim b'Shabbat. You don't have to worry about Kilayim. You don't have to worry about Shvi'it. You could pick it in the 7th year. You could lo mishum Asrot. You could go. You don't have to give Ma'asrot for it if you already, because you already separated Ma'asrot when you harvested it for the first time. And nitalim b'Shabbat. You're allowed to actually take them out of the ground and eat them, take them on Shabbat. So Rambam, just want to point out, explains that all these cases are allowed, right? It depends on if the leaves are showing. If the leaves are showing, that is the condition for everything, for Kilayim, Shvi'it, for everything, as opposed to Rashi, that needs this only for Shabbat. Right? So interesting that she only needs the leaves showing for the Shabbat. Rambam needs this as a condition for everything. Now, what would be the issue? So Rambam says, Mishum Kilayim, we know there's an issue of Kilayim. Lo tizrak al mecha Kilayim. You can't plant your vineyard Kilayim. Over here, this is not, because it's only buried, right? And the leaves are showing. Mishum Shvi'it, what would be the issue for Shvi'it? The pasuk says, Sadecha lo tizra, right? You're not allowed to plant your field. It's talking about the 7th year. And over here, this could be, no, but because the leaves are shown and you're only burying it, that's not considered a planting in the field. Right? That usually you have to go ahead and separate ma'asrot when you uproot something. The pasuk says, right? That's what we're talking about. Anything over here, this is not considered semach haaretz, right? It's not grown from the ground. It's not growing now. And nitalim b'Shabbat, because it's not something that's connected to the ground. It's not rooted in the ground. Now, Rambam does point out over here, and this is what the Gemara says, and it questions, what about the fact that you're moving dirt? Dirt is muktzeh. You can't go ahead and move dirt. When you're picking this radish and the turnip out of the ground, you're inevitably moving dirt. And the Talmud over there answers that this is considered tiltul min hatzad. It's a nice phrase to remember. You're moving muktzeh, right, to tum hatzad. You're moving muktzeh from the side, right, meaning you're not actively doing it yourself. You're just picking something up, right? You're lifting this radish out, and the radish, by moving it out, the dirt's going to fall back into the hole. But you're not actually moving the dirt with your hands yourself. And we know the concept tiltul min hatzad la shemeh tiltul. right? If you're moving something from the side, it's not considered titu, it's not considered moving muktzeh. So that's why you're allowed to do all this. Next part of the Mishnah is mahloket. Mahloket, what's considered kilayim? If you plant barley, wheat and barley in one shot, take 2 seeds, you put them in the ground together, that's considered kilayim. Rabbi Yehuda says, no. You need to have 3 seeds. It could be 2 wheat seeds and 1 barley, 1 wheat, 2 barley, or 3 separate ones, wheat, barley, and spelt. Right? But you need to have 3 seeds. Rabbi Yehuda learns this because he compares this. He says it's similar to Kidah Kerem. We know everyone agrees when it comes to Kidah Kerem, Kilayim by a vineyard, right? Over there, the pasuk is clear. It says Lo tizra karmecha kilayim. You can't plant kilayim in your kerem, right? In the vineyard. So you can't plant kilayim, meaning 2 seeds, right? Let's say wheat and barley in the vineyard, right? With the grape seed. So that over there is talking about 3 seeds. And everyone agrees that the Kilayim Kerem, when it comes to the Kilayim by vineyard, you need to plant at least 3 seeds to be Hayav Malkut from the Torah. Everything over here is talking about Doraita, right? To be Hayav, lashes from the Torah, you need to plant 3 seeds, and then you violated the Torah law. The whole mahloket over here is when you're not planting in the vineyard. You're just planting regular Kilayim. So Rabbi Yehuda says, the same way you had 3 seeds by the vineyard, also you have 3 seeds over here, only then you're going to be Hayav. And Tanakama says, no. He doesn't compare it over there. Over here, all you need is 2 seeds to be hayav in kilayim from the Torah. Halacha is not like Rabbi Yehuda.